Rad, the first Guacamelee was a super colourful and surprisingly complex action platformer that introduced us to Juan, a simple agave farmer turned superhero wrestler.
Well, Goose, now it's time to once again don the mythical Luchador mask and step back into the ring for the sequel, Guacamelee 2.
Okay?
That means 2.
Olé! It's been 7 years since Juan defeated the evil Carlos Calaca, saving the people of Mexico and rescuing the love of his life, Lupita. Since then, he's hung up his wrestling tights and settled down to live the quiet life and raise a family.
But things don't stay quiet for long. While he's out on an important quest, shopping for avocados, mysterious portals begin appearing all over town, releasing a batch of bad esquelitos, as well as a familiar four-legged friend who convinces you to travel with him to save the Mexiverse.
It is a totally crazy way to kick off an adventure, and I'd even say there are a few too many faces popping up at once, but I did like how it all quickly spins out of control. After jumping through a few humorous universes, you eventually find your way to the darkest timeline, where a council of Chivos, the goat guy, have brought you, the last surviving Juan, to defeat Salvador, a sickly wrestler who believes he can achieve eternal life by stealing 3 ancient relics that hold the key to create the sacred guacamole. I mean, sure, it sounds ridiculous, but thanks to the game's amazing art style and music, it all pulls you into its world like a crazy Mexican fever dream.
It's stunning to look at, isn't it? And the good news is, it plays as good as it looks. The tight responsive controls from the original are back, and they feel better than ever. And you'll need to truly master them to have any chance of recovering the stolen relics from some particularly tough temples. Each new area you visit is made up of tricky platforming sections mixed with enemy encounters, and often you'll be locked in with them until you defeat them all. Or should I say, they're locked in with you!
The combat here is so satisfying. Hits land with a solid thwack, and often fights will require you to juggle multiple enemies at once. Luckily, as a wrestler, you can utilise powerful grapples, throws, and punch combos. And as your journey continues, you'll unlock muchos extra moves to add to your repertoire, such as the rooster uppercut, the dash punch, even the ability to turn into a chicken with its own super moves. All these abilities are gradually unlocked, so you'll have plenty of time to perfect them before you'll need to start stringing them together to defeat certain enemy types and bosses.
Not only do these moves come in handy during a brawl, but they're also essential for navigating particular areas of the world. Just another example of that classic metroidvania gameplay, which seems to be popping up in games more and more nowadays.
Did you know the statues you break to unlock your abilities in Guacamelee are actually nods to the original Metroid on the Nintendo Entertainment System? In fact, there are quite a few hidden Easter eggs that show off these developers' appreciation for classic video game design over the ages.
I do love a bit of nostalgia, and it certainly seems like Metroidvania is the big trend this year. And the Guacamelee series really does embrace the genre. I particularly appreciated how well everything is marked out in the map. I never found myself lost or without a heading. Plus, you eventually unlock fast travel statues to avoid spending too long travelling between towns and hubs.
New in this sequel is 4-player co-op, which lets you bring along twice as many players as in the original game. And having players drop in and out is a great way to help deal with the tough fights and tricky platforming sections, because as long as at least one player is still alive, you can keep respawning infinitely. Also, fighting alongside Old Man Chivo is hilarious.
You know, Rad, I actually found having more compadres made the game a little harder. Specifically platforming areas that use interdimensional rifts and fast-moving hazards. More often than not, we would just fluke our way to the next screen or get stuck dying over and over again. I mean, it made for some fun chuckles, but I'm not sure it's the ideal way to appreciate some of this fantastic level design.
Yeah, that is true. Plus, it can make it hard to keep track of where you are on screen. So messy.
So loco.
Then again, the more the merrier in my opinion. But like a delicious bean burrito, we should wrap this up. Final thoughts, Goose?
Well, Rad, while I did appreciate the wackier story and setting, when it comes down to it, Guacamelee 2 is really just more of the same. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. The controls and fighting worked so well in the original that I'm just happy to be spending more time bashing my way through the Mexiverse. I'm giving the game 4 out of 5 rubber gallinas. That means chickens.
Oh, good one, Goose. It's nice to be back in such a beautifully designed world, especially when that same attention to detail is given to the game mechanics. I did find the difficulty spikes quite quickly later in the game, but as long as you have some amigos to help you through, then you're bound to have a bueno time with Guacamelee too. I'm also giving it 4 out of 5 rubber gallinas.